Perfect. So in this second part of the first session, and before going really into details about the first steps, really using the system, we wanted to show you and to give you some information about the data that you have to upload at some points of the season to the system to be able to use the advanced processors. So first I will introduce the system operation and when you have to upload these different data and information. Then we're going to see the list of these files and we're going to go through all of them one by one. And what you have to know also before beginning is that you are still working to better document one of these files. So it will be done soon. And also you have examples of all these files on the website at this address. And it's really important when you begin to use the system to go and check them and try. Some of them can just be adapted from these files that are available. So it's useful that you go and check it. So first about the system operation. So as Sophie said, the system is designed to run in a continuous mode to be able to make the continuous monitoring. So it means that at the beginning of the season, you don't have all the information, and especially you don't have the declarations from the farmer, but still it is important to launch the system and to launch the pre-processing of the Earth observation data because it represents the highest part in terms of processing time. And then at some point, when you have a first version of the parcels with the declarations ready, you can upload it in the system with the needed auxiliary information that we are going to talk about now. So at the beginning of the season, as soon as you can create a site. So you initialize the system and you have to give three kinds of information. First, you have to define the area of interest. So you have to upload a shapefile with the site extent. Then you have to define the monitoring period. So the start and end dates of the period that you want to monitor. And also you have to define a mid-season date. And this will be used by the system. It's the first day when in the automatic mode, it will begin to produce the advanced products. But we're going to see it also in details after. And you have to define also if you want to use only Sentinel data or if you want to use Sentinel data and Landsat dates. And then when you launch the site, the system will automatically begin to ingest the data. So can download the data directly from the provider platforms, or you can access it directly if you have some local archive, typically in a cloud environment like on a DIAS or on Amazon Web Services. Then as soon as the data is ingested, the system will trigger the pre-processing. So we talked about it already. So the cloud detection and atmospheric correction for the optical data, and then the computation of the backscattering and the coherence for the Sentinel-1. And already, if you activated it, one processor can run already, which is the one that generates the biophysical indicators from the optical data. Then, during the monitoring period, when you have the parcels ready, you can upload them. It's a shapefile, and then you need to upload some tables and configuration files for the different processors. And once it is done, the system is able to run the advanced processors with a by default scheduling, but you can also change it, the scheduling when you configure your site. And practically, it looks like that. So at the beginning of the season, you initialize the system. It begins to pre-process the data to generate biophysical indicators. Then at some point, you are able to upload the parcels. The system begins to extract markers over each parcel, and this information can be used by the advanced processors to process final products. And this is done several times during the rest of the monitoring period with the by default scheduling times. So this is the automatic mode, and this can be handled totally with the web interface. So for the ones who doesn't use already the system, who don't use already the system, when you install the system, there's a web interface which is created that you can access via any web browser, and you can really handle a lot of functionalities with this web interface, and especially in this automatic mode. What you have to know also is that for the automatic mode, it's using by default parameters and by default scheduling. But also you can add, like I said, also other scheduled job, and this you can do it also via the web interface. On top of that, there's another mode, the manual mode, and with this mode you can run all the processors also independently, and this time with custom parameters. You can do it via the web interface again, via a tab called Custom Job, or you can also directly run the processors in command lines through a Linux console. So what is the list of files to upload? You have the list here. So at the beginning of the season, there's the area of interest. It's a shapefile. Then you have the parcels. It's a shapefile again, what we call the subsidy applications layer. And then you have different tables and configuration files for the advanced processors. That we're going to go through all of them now. So the first one, the area of interest, is quite simple. It just has to be a shapefile with the right projection, which is defined here. So WGS 84 with the right UTM zone. You just zip it and you can upload it in the system. And this system will use it to define which are the low-level products, so S1, S2, and L8, that it needs to ingest in the system. So quite easy. The second one is the subsidy application layer. So again, it's a shapefile. This time you can project it with any projection. And in fact, this projection will be used also to produce the advanced products. And the condition is that it needs to contain three kinds of information in this shapefile, and especially in the attribute table: a unique ID of the parcel, a holding ID of the parcel, and the crop code of the parcel. So it has to have at least three attribute fields which correspond to this information. It can be text or numerical values. And also for the unique ID of the parcel, you can decide to use several attribute fields, and the system will concatenate them to make the unique ID. This is an example of a shapefile, a parcel shapefile. So you see the three different fields that correspond with the right information. Then the first table is for the crop type mapping processor. And in fact, it is used by the crop type mapping processors, but also by the other, the two other ones. So it's mandatory to upload it also with for the other processors. It's a CSV file, so just a table which lists all the original crop code from the subsidy applications layer, and then it will define a series information for each of these crop codes. So the first one is the high-level land cover category. So there are 6 which are defined. So is it an annual crop, a permanent crop, a grassland, a fallow land, greenhouse and nursery, or other natural areas? In fact, the different processors are using this information to select the parcels from which it has to extract markers. This is the first kind of information, and then with this table, you can also, it's with this table that you can group, in fact, crop codes together for the classification. It's often very useful, and it's also where you have to define some information for the crop diversification use case. And this is an example of such table. Also, what I forgot to say before is that if you are not interested in the crop diversification in particular, you can just let the column that are referring to it empty or with a unique value, and it will not be used by the system. So that's for the first table. Then the second processor, so the grassland mowing detection processor, you have to upload a configuration file that can be adapted using any notepad. And what's inside this configuration file? First, it contains parameters for the algorithm. And so in this file, you will be able to adapt these parameters to better fit with the grassland growing conditions and agricultural practices in your area. And you have the example from the 7 pilot countries, so you can really, at least for the first test and so on, use one of these 7 pilot countries parameters. And then it's also there that you have to, so there's a compliancy assessment which is done by the grassland mowing detection processor, and there you have to define the rules that are corresponding to each crop code, to each grassland type. So in fact, it's where, in which period you have to detect a mowing event for the parcel to be compliant. So this is for the configuration file of the grassland mowing detection processor. Now the last processor, the agricultural practices monitoring processor. First, you have again a configuration file to upload. It is based a bit the same as the grassland mowing detection configuration file. First, there you can define parameters for the algorithm. In fact, in this case, each parameter corresponds to one marker that was also explained by Sophie. And again, you can adapt these parameters to better fit with the conditions of your area. And a specificity for the agricultural practice monitoring is that then for each monitored practice, you can adapt, you can say, the by default parameters to this practice. And the 4 practices that are monitored are the what we call NAs, the harvest detection, then catch crop, fallow land, and nitrogen fixing crops. Then on top of that, for this processor, you have also to upload a CSV file for each monitored practice. And in this table, you will give to the system the list of parcels to be monitored for each practice. And then you will have also to define some time ranges regarding the practice. It depends a bit for each practice that you want to monitor. This is an example for a catch crop practice. So you have to define first the vegetation period, which is approximately the period when the main crop is growing. Then you have to define the harvest period, when the harvest should be observed. It's also approximately. And then the practice period is the period when the profit that you monitor should occur. And that's it for these different files that you need to upload at different time of the season.